Okay, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's L to the B. I just wanted to take a quick minute and just kind of go over some stuff while I'm a little bit, in the stone mind. But I was reviewing some information, and I'm a big Alan Watts fan. I mean, I love just hearing his comparisons to things and how all of it means nothing, all of it means something. Just he's always good with his philosophy. But so I wanted to find some other people that were interesting like him, just to have perspective. I like broadened perspectives. I'll listen to one person a lot, just to kind of build up that repetition of the mind and make some imprints, and then I like to filter off and find some other people that may be similar, just the contrast. And I found Tony Parsons and then Jim Newman. And here's the thing that I'm going to go ahead and kind of comment on from my observations of hearing them, how they speak with other people that they interview. And I don't know if I have the same approach whenever I'm in a conversation. I may or may not. Their philosophy is basically the non-duality philosophy, which is a lot of what the other teachings teach. But in their philosophy, there is no teaching. So they're basically saying you got, again, another dual situation where the one offers teachings to get to the realization that there's nothing, and then there's everything. And then you have the one that chooses to use non-teaching to just arrive at the same equation, which is, this is it. It's just happening. What is there to teach you? You just understand that. That's it. It's nothing else, right? So what comes in all of this scenario, and I'm just going to kind of hold the non-duality principle, the happening principle, accountable right here. When these people are on here, they're looking for guidance, they're looking for application, is perfectly within the scope and understanding that these guys can give some methodology without breaking the philosophy of there being, this is just it. I mean, you've got to understand, the happening allows for all happenings. So if you wanted to give an explanation for someone's illusion of the self, because they're still bombarded with that philosophy, then it's up to you now, which is all of us, to go ahead and express this possible direction that they might want to take in looking and approaching it from the illusionary standpoint. You're basically going within yourself, another idea of yourself, to explain to these people how they can maybe walk their way back out. When you completely take a stance on there is no teaching, it's just happening. I mean, you're still expressing a teaching. You're still expressing a philosophy, an understanding that people are going to be hearing this, and they're going to make a reference to whatever they need to in their own life, whether they want to choose to believe it or not believe it. In the own teaching, it doesn't matter whether you believe or you don't believe. It's happening anyways. Both, maybe none, doesn't matter, and that's all happening too. And so what I kept hearing a lot, and I didn't really hear it a lot with Tony. Tony's is a little mixed up. He communicates more with his audience based on who they are. I mean, it kind of flows back and forth with them. Feels more natural. On Jim's side, and I haven't heard Jim enough, could have just been one moment and one video, don't really know. But the way that, I think the person came in and said something like, this is really ridiculous. Like the philosophy makes you feel like this is like totally ridiculous. And Jim kind of took a stance back to say, like, what do you mean it's ridiculous? Like, wait a minute, I think that's very unfair. And he starts to contrast this all up. Let me tell you something. Like, their philosophy, if they're embracing it well enough, and they still struggle, they're not the gurus. They're not gurus. They speak a lot on it, and they reinforce a lot of their beliefs. And with this whole non-duality principle, whether they want to say it's a belief or not a belief, doesn't matter. but then at the same time, they're not gurus in that. They just haven't been challenged maybe enough in their basic understanding of happening. They listen to what a perspective is, and it seems like it's not a hard concept, especially if people have followed a lot in the teachings of Buddhism and Taoism and whatever the hell else you want to go with. I mean, that's why I say it's not too difficult to embrace what they're saying. It's fairly easy. And then you can make a lot of inferences and you can get a lot of loopholes and you can always kind of get out. So if anything, and this will kind of echo back to what Tony Parsons is saying, is that if anything, people are looking, or maybe it's not Tony, I think maybe it was Jim. But if people are looking for their foundations to just basically lean their illusions on. So they're like, okay, my illusion, my belief of this, which doesn't exist anyways, is a doubt. So my doubts about these things are on this subject, this thing, this thing, this thing. Well, this religion or this practice or whatever I can lean on now will help absolve that, or help answer all of it or most of it. Well, guess what? This non-duality principle that Jim is now making a reference to and how people use religion as crutches is the exact same thing he's using a crutch on for all of the responses and the questions that people ask. So if people are asking these questions and you're just deflecting back and using this religion to kind of, and it's not really religion, excuse me, it's more belief. And again, it's like it creates this bad, it's always a way in and a way out with the non-duality approach. I still like it. I might even prescribe to it, but there's more things. There's more things. I mean, no one, they haven't really even scratched, I think, every single religion and subject matter to really just say, I've got it all. Now that I can just spit this, I'm absolved of learning about anything else in this experience. I can just rest on my laurels, so to speak, in a religious belief or non-religious belief or belief or non-belief. And it just, again, it creates this stupid loophole that I think a lot of people that are atheist-minded, it's not every atheist, trust me. So I like my atheist folks. But it's a trap sometimes that a lot of atheists walk in where they're saying, well, I'm a non-believer, which is a belief of not believing, like you still get stuck. You get pigeonholed into that, unfortunately. But when the guy said it was ridiculous, sorry, I kind of digressed. Jim could have easily said, yeah, it is. And it isn't. It doesn't really matter. But how do you feel about that if I'm using your illusion of being a you? And the guy gets a chance to go and play the game. See, no one said you can't play the game. Everyone's under this mistaken belief that, well, there's nothing, so I have to be nothing kind of thing. Or, oh, wait a minute, it is something. I'm all of everything. And that's it. But see, again, that's it. There's nothing. No. You could at least tell people, you talking about illusions, you can say all together, have fun with the illusions. Make this the playground you want it to be. I mean, it's an illusion. And if you can control that illusion and you can make plans and make it pretty and do all the happenings that go along with that, well, you're just an extension of the happening. You get to become the expression of the happenings. So you want, if somebody's looking for some kind of foothold or, I don't know, trying to look for some kind of application to this, it's just say if you want to use it as that's the rock of this whole thing, which is the same thing, whatever you want to use, you can still spiral off of it by just using illusions as your reference. And, just the illusion of thinking there's something to learn, the illusion of thinking there's somewhere I got to be, the illusion that there's a higher force to me that I'm aspiring to be, an illusion that there's energy to go to other energy. You see, there's an illusion that you can play with this and you can have fun with it. You can start to embrace the journey of illusions in life, which are beliefs or doubts or questions. They're all those things. So I don't know why they have a hard time trying to give people a place to walk from. And I don't know how a lot, and I know how a lot of people that have been on these little paths and teachers and gurus, I can understand where they get peace off of hearing this, because I get a kind of a peace from hearing it. I was like, yeah, it's kind of nice. But after a while, I mean, I can move really quickly right the hell on, because I mean, they're probably in their minds thinking, you guys are still watching this? Like, you're still spending enough time to look at this and maybe pay me for it? And like, it doesn't make any sense, because there's no more to talk about on the subject. It is what it is. We're it. There's no reality. There's a reality. Doesn't matter. It's just happening. This experience of experiencing. It's just experiencing. This one happening. It may be just the same thing. How do you describe it? How does it describe it? It's just happening that's describing. It's describing. You see, there's so many easy ways you can play with that and always be winning. It's like a winning, kind of a winning philosophy. But like I said, I don't believe these guys are like strong gurus in the sense that you can study philosophy, you can study theology, you can study esotericism, and then you can finally fucking get around to getting some like religious-based approaches, which a lot of rabbit holes, right? Let's be real. But if you can walk through some etymology, you can kind of get to some core roots, you can kind of listen to what, if you want to call it, the illusions are of some of these religions, then it can be very fascinating, revealing, and almost play into the mystery or the secret of this whole thing of happenings. Because yeah, it is just happening, but there has to be some kind of vibrational oneness with the happening, that the mystery of there being something, that there can unlock something, and there's a joy and a mystery, and there's a reward, there's a treasure, there's a way to effectively use the system, beckons to just like the body knowing how to use its index finger or its thumb. So, to say that we're all the same thing and we're not apart, but then don't do a motherfucking thing is kind of silly to me. So you're the expression of this whole thing. If I can give anybody something to reference, we're expressions to one another. We're reflections of one another. We're mirroring things. We can also choose whatever energy moves us towards. There's all these things that might pervade our mind and give us anxiety. We can let go of those things. Just fucking express in all of that capacity. If you want it to be meaningful, make it meaningful. Maybe it's in the illusionary expression of you to be that way. And then when there's a methodology that can carry you forward and produce results, and maybe as what we perceive in something on YouTube as somebody that has achieved these things we can learn from and we can apply it in our own lives. When that experience, and you can think about it countless times, you've seen something, you've applied it, and it worked. So the occurrence is all happening, and it's happening in a massive amount. And what it is you can just say it's you waking up. Think about that. It's everything waking up. It's working the shoulder. It's using the hands. It's starting to make movement. It's waking up. And it's expressing. And you can form anything you want out of that. You can be the subject of embarrassing discussions with other people have about you, or you can be like the coolest fucking rock star on the planet. You can be this guy that's just like a Swiss Army knife. Just every time you talk to the person, it always has something that they can use or MacGyver their way out. I mean, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be and play the game. Just play the game. And I hope I'm offering some kind of resolution here between Jim and Tony. And I'm sure there's some other gurus that are kind of like on the kick with this, but I don't want to talk too much trash about them. I haven't seen a lot of their work, but I mean, again, I don't feel like I need to. And if I'm really like echoing their message that they're putting out to people, they should agree with that statement. They should know that I could watch maybe 15, 20 minutes and I've got it. If I got it, I got it. There's nothing else. There's nothing to get. We've already it. I mean, like, I don't know how people can get over that. Whatever. Maybe it's really like stoner type talk, to be honest. But that's why philosophy is, pretty cool, because if you're stoned, man, it's like great discussions. You can kind of mind bending. You can go out there. You can use your imagination. You really tap into yourself, which is me. Yeah, you get it. It's such a mind fuck, but at the same time, it's fun. But anyways, decided to make that video. I'm gonna check out and hopefully get some other videos later. If you don't mind, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Share if you feel like it. I'll see you on the next video.